ranking member, we're going to adhere strictly to the 7 minutes so that everybody gets a chance, and then we'll come back for another round.
Hey, Mr. Chairman. By the way, there's an ongoing investigation as one of the primary excuses always used to prevent disclosure to Congress. So chalk that up to another one from the workshop. Commandant Fagan, did I hear you right? You testified that you've turned all the documents over to the committee?
We have been working in good faith with the committee, rolling production of documents. We began this process last summer, added people and resourcing to ensure that we're able to get into a regular production of documents. This is an unprecedented undertaking for the organization. There were just short of 2 million pages of documents that were initially looked at with regard to potentially being responsive to the issues that the subcommittee is interested in. We have turned over 18,000 pages of documents to the subcommittee responsive to the ask. That includes 91 reports of investigation from assaults that occurred at the Coast Guard Academy. I understand and we have done this consistent with advice from the General Counsel, consistent with protection of victim privacy and victim dignity, witness privacy, sensitive public health information, attorney-client privilege, and the pre-deliberation or pre-decisional documents. Okay, in those cases where the committee, we have offered in-camera review. It's a standing and open offer for in-camera review. Any one of the documents that you have, we welcome the opportunity to continue to work in good faith with the committee to provide the documents.
So, Bob, we haven't received all the documents.
You've received.
We have not received all the documents. They're still going under review.
We have completed the review. You've received all of the responsive documents.
One of the documents, and I asked you when we first met in my office, showed you an email. There was an attachment to that email. The attachment wasn't provided, and you made the commitment to provide us that attachment. I believe what that was an earlier version of the report, an earlier draft of the report on Operation Fouled Anchor. You committed to provide that. That has not been provided to us, correct?
Well, we'll work back through your committee. I know you've got the Fouled Anchor report, the final report.
Okay. Again, part of our investigation would be to see earlier drafts in terms of what, again, I view this as a cover-up. So when you're investigating a cover-up, some of the documents you're going to want is, okay, we see the final report from a 5-year investigation. You know, we're aware of the fact that that initial report, the initial draft, was 11 pages. It would be very interesting, I think, important for us to see what was cut out of that 11 pages to produce a 6-page report. So when can we expect to see the original drafts, the 11-page initial draft of the report?
I continue to work with my general counsel and am taking advice with regard to
what excuse would be given to not turn over the initial draft of the report? If you want to be fully transparent, what could possibly prevent that from happening?
I continue to work in good faith with the committee to provide documents, and will provide
again. Good faith is always the excuse you hear. Who do you report to?
I report to Secretary Mayorkas.
Have you spoken to Secretary Mayorkas about this situation?
Yes.
What kind of interest has she shown in, let's face it, in this cover-up?
This is not a cover-up. I am committed to providing documents in good faith. This is an incredible organization, and I am committed to bringing the organization forward and making the culture change necessary, and I understand that there's a responsiveness to the committee. I remain committed to that, and I continue to work with my own lawyers and the department to ensure that we are providing documents consistent with executive branch and constitutional, the constitutional process with regard to accommodation.
Again, you have to understand, I've heard this time and time again over multiple investigations. It's the exact same excuses given all the time in terms of not being responsive. You talk about 2 million pages. Well, we've already cut it down to somewhere between 25 and 30. You've turned over 17, but in particular, when there's a a document that you request, from a U.S. Senator to the Commandant of the Coast Guard. And the Commandant of the Coast Guard said, yeah, we'll provide that document, and it's not provided. And again, I'm not talking 2 million pages. I'm not talking 25,000 pages. I'm talking about an 11-page initial draft of the report on an investigation that took 5 years, that was then covered up for a number of years, and I can't get that 11 pages. We can't get that 11 pages. Why?
I remain committed.
Have you read that full 11-page draft report?
I have not read the pre-decisional 11-page report. I have read the final fouled anchor report that was closed out in February of 2020.
You haven't been inquisitive enough to read the initial draft?
I am focused on...
There's obviously a reason I want to see it. There's obviously a reason I'm making a point of it in this hearing. I think it could be very revealing in terms of what the Coast Guard, at that point in time, decided, well, we don't want to include that. That might harm our institution. That might be embarrassing. So let's leave that out. We'll give them these 6 pages. We'll leave these 5 pages out. So if I get nothing out of this hearing today, is I'd like a complete commitment to show us that full 11-page draft report. If we have to review it in camera, fine. I can go read 11 pages in camera. It's a little more difficult to do another 10 or 20,000 pages. That's why we need these documents here, so that, we can search them. We can get them on our computer. We can search for key phrases. I mean, there's a way you do these investigations. In-camera reviews is not a very good way of doing it, but I'll make an exception for these 11 pages. Can I get that commitment?
I will commit to providing those 11 pages in camera review.
Okay, thank you.
Senator